one more time to your left.
Looking left.
And Jessica T-Right.
Jessica.
And Jessica.
It's Chastain.
Jessica straight ahead.
Chastain.
Down to your left. Both the way back.
Guys, right here, right in front of you.
Right.
Thank you, boss.
Andy, right down here.
It's right, September 6th, everybody. Straight ahead, right here. Right here, please. It's right. One more time.
I see it, come on.
There we go.
One last time, on the way.
Jacob, right here, buddy. One time right here, Jacob.
Chosen. Right over here. Is that right, buddy? Looking back, please.
Jack,
Isaiah Mustafa is here, everybody.
Wyatt, right there, hang on, Wyatt, to your right.
I love the bond of this group of people. I love the message of unity. I love the message of people confronting their childhood traumas and learning that by facing them, they free themselves from them. I studied the first one, studied Soph's performance. It was so beautiful what she did, and of course read the book. Well, he's a mirror back to you. He represents your greatest fears. And you have to confront them, and that's what makes him so terrifying to everybody. He's a great actor. I mean, he actually got me on our first day. We were doing a read-through, and he wasn't even in hair and makeup, and he made me jump and scream, actually. He, startled me, so he's really in it. There's a lot of scares. There's more scares in this one, I think, but there's love, there's friendship, there's drama, there's comedy, it's catharsis. It really is a throwback to movies that I love, like Goonies and movies from my childhood.
Yeah, I just watched the first one and went off of that one. I didn't reread the book or anything like that. Yeah, it was just kind of like whatever Finn was doing and being an extension of that. I don't know, it's really scary and it's pretty dramatic. It's kind of about group trauma in a way. Yeah, it's interesting. They're going to be scared, they're going to laugh, hopefully, and yeah, all those things.
I just think that you're going to see, what happens next, that's the first thing. But I think what you're going to see is how the friendships were forged in the first, and how they've kind of, even though they haven't seen each other in 27 years, how those friendships are still there, that chemistry is still there. I think that Pennywise represents, for children, it's something that's the first thing that you see that you're told is something that's good and kind, and then it kind of flips on you, and what you thought was kind and good turns into this evil thing, and it's like almost, it's a realization of horror or fear.
If you're a fan of the first installment, the second just amps up those qualities that Andy Muschietti, the director, showed us in chapter 1. There's a lot more scares, but also the chemistry that the kids had in the first one. As the adult losers, we really tried to emulate that, and I think it shows. We had Bill Hader, and that was a lifeline for us because he's such a funny dude. So there's a real nice amount of lightness and humor in this as well as the dark moments. Yeah, I watched the first one a billion times. Then I just watched clips on YouTube of Jeremy Ray Taylor, the young Ben's performance over and over again. In particular, there's a moment where he first meets Beverly in chapter 1, and she signs his yearbook, and he's listening to New Kids on the Block. and she says something about the new kid, and he blushes on cue. And it's just the sweetest moment. So I took that to infuse into the older Ben. I thought it was a really nice moment to take in as a kind of gateway into the character. You know, at first I thought, it wouldn't be freaky, but he's a really imposing guy. He's tall as it is, and in the Pennywise makeup and outfit, he's like 6'6", right? So he's very imposing, and to work with him is really dynamic. He's almost like working with a wild animal. You don't know what he's going to do. He's got a really frenetic energy, but as soon as they call cut, he's chill. But if you're acting opposite him, you're not chill because you've been really affected by his performance.
It's more than just like a horror movie, it's an epic action adventure. It's like an old school Hollywood movie.
It has the same like sentimentality and same nostalgia, but it's just a bigger movie with higher stakes. Well, the Pennywise character is he's like this evil entity, right, that can take the form and shape of anything it wants. I think that the scariest thing, at least when I saw it when I was a kid back in the day, is that it seems to be this thing that manifests like your worst fears out of coming from your imagination. So it seems to me that its power is limitless based off of your imagination. That's terrifying.
I think it lives in everybody. It is that fear, that insecurity, that thing we all had as teenagers that, makes it so that we can't be healthy, happy, free. Looking 27 years later at myself and thinking about my, teenage fears and questioning, the ones that I still have, that still hold me back. That little voice that says, you're not good looking enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough. So he is a metaphor for the fear that we all employ to hold us back. And so it's up to us growing to beat our own it. And I think that's a big part about, the draw to this story.
It's a revamped, more intense, more exciting version of the first one. I think everyone should go out and see it. There's as much heart as the first one, but even more horror. It was a lot of fun. It was a little reunion, but we all spent so much time together, all the losers anyway, so it didn't feel that different, but it was nice getting back into our characters, and the hardest part was doing the stutter again, because I had gotten rid of it. Finally, it kind of stuck with me after a while, after doing it, but then I finally got rid of it, and then I had to go back into it. So.
I've always wanted her to play the older me. I told Andy that, and she worked with Andy before, and she looks like me, and she acts wonderfully, so she was kind of like that perfect fit. So when she actually got the job, I was really relieved. It is scarier, it is more violent, and you get to see the older kids that you loved and first hit come back the second time and reunite. When he gets into character, it is very scary. When he's in character, he's very scary. But at the same time, I personally am a big fan of practical effects, so kind of seeing him, I can't help but just to get really excited, because I just think all of it's just so interesting. So I need to remember, oh, right, yeah, scary.
But I think fans can expect a faithful sequel and a great cast and amazing performances from everyone, but still with the same charm as the first one. Pennywise is kind of a different, he's almost like a chameleon, or it's almost like a chameleon, so it can change into whatever, I guess, haunts you. Fans can experience, a fun time, but also being really scared at the same time, and great filmmaking, and yeah, lots.
I hope they experience just a range of emotion. Our goal is to just put you through a story. So of course be afraid, but more than that, have some laughs, have some heartfelt moments, just everything, a journey. I think it's the fact that you don't know anything about him. If you're gonna understand something, you can't be too scared, but the fact that he can be anything, any place, anytime, that's a pretty scary thing.
It was amazing. I mean, it was really great. We all got to come back, and I feel like we were all more experienced this time, and it almost felt like we didn't leave. Like it just felt like we it just one day went by. So it was really great. You know, you'll get a lot of the same friendship as the first one, but a lot more scary. It's totally upped on that, so bring your adult diapers. It was interesting. I mean, seeing Bill Skarsgård, like, people ask us if it was scary to film, but I think the scariest part was actually seeing before the take whenever Bill Skarsgård was getting in character, because he would, like, shake and laugh to himself and stuff, so it was terrifying.
It was the most incredible experience of my life, and I made so many great friends that I'll forever always have. So to revisit it and come back, it was so nostalgic in the best way. The first one was like dipping your toe in the water of this story, and now we're really diving deep, and it's getting intense. It's more intense. It's a lot more intense now.
I think the casting is really interesting for this one because, like, in my opinion, everyone looks like their older counterpart and vice versa, and everyone even acts similar. Like Chosen and Isaiah Mustafa, they act really, really similar, and just like their mannerisms and everything. Everyone has their own way of relating to this story, and I think a powerful theme is the power of unity for the losers to come together and tackle this huge entity known as it, and successfully take it down in the first film is such a gratifying message, and I think people really gravitate towards that, and I think that's something that's so expertly done in It 1 and 2. He's usually pretty calm around set, but then once Andy's like, all right, or once they're rolling and Andy's about to say action, he starts laughing to himself and talking to himself. It's a little terrifying, I would say.
If you love the first one, you'd love the second one. It all still shows children's stories, kids going through kid stuff, adults going through adult stuff now. Still scary, still sad, still funny. Everything that you loved from the first one is just emphasized in this one. I mean, seeing all these boys was just, and Sophia and everyone was just awesome. And it was 2 years prior that we filmed the first one. So they'd all grown up, they're all adults of their own now, basically. It was really cool. I mean, we hadn't really had a chance to see each other after the filming of the first one, except for the premiere. We just got to see each other again and have fun and act like it was the first movie again. It was great.
I think if you like the first one, you're gonna enjoy the second one more. You know, all the emotions that are displayed in the drama in the first one are intensified in chapter 2. It's scarier. And it has a different scale. It has, you know, it's told in a bigger canvas, and it's a story that deserves to be told in a bigger canvas. There's a dialogue between the timelines. So we meet the losers 27 years later, but there are flashbacks to when they were kids. So. Yeah, you should expect something very emotional, very scary, and epic. When you're directing a movie with 7 leads, you have to know very much where each of the characters is, what each of the characters is going through in every second of this journey. So there's a lot of putting on the same page to do. And no matter how much you rehearse, how much you talk, when you're on the day, there's a lot of talking to do, and but it's a process that all of us enjoyed a lot. But it's rare. It's an unusual case of 7 leads, and a lot of them are in many of the scenes.
Fear, of course, laughter, but mostly you're gonna leave the theater feeling great, which is not common for a horror film. But it's what you get from It Chapter 2. It's a roller coaster throughout the film, 2 hours 45 of heightened emotions, and then you're going to leave with a smile. We were incredibly lucky that so many people wanted to be in the film. We had 3 criteria to cast the adults. One was that there were excellent actors, check. Second, that they looked exactly like the kids. That was the challenging part. And, you know, some were very easy to find, like Jessica, like McAvoy, like Bill Hader, because they're just doppelgangers from the kids. The other four, we had to look a little further, but we found them, and they are exquisite. And then the third criteria was that we wanted volunteers. We wanted people to be in the film because it was going to be a hard shoot, and we got the best family.
Hi guys, here's today's Daily Fact. During the filming of the first It film, Bill Skarsgård, who plays Pennywise, had minimum contact with the kids on set in order to make his appearance even more frightening and unexpected. And I think we can all agree it definitely worked. Remember to click below to subscribe, and if you like my t-shirt and you're a movie lover, you can get in the description box below.